Hello, my friends. Leave a comment where you see us and at what time. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. At 17, I lived with my parents in a rural farmhouse outside Athens, Ohio, surrounded by cornfields and dense woods. It was a peaceful place, but at night, the isolation felt eerie. One night in August 2025, my parents were visiting relatives in Cleveland, leaving me alone. I was watching a movie in the living room, the house lit only by the TV's glow, when I heard footsteps upstairs. They were heavy, deliberate, not the usual creaks of our old house. My stomach dropped. I'd locked every door and window before settling in, a habit from living so far from neighbors. I muted the TV, listening intently, hoping it was my imagination. The footsteps moved toward the staircase, each creak amplifying my fear. I grabbed my phone, my hands trembling, and hid behind the couch. Then I heard a voice, low, gravelly, unfamiliar, muttering, "Let me in." My blood ran cold. No one should be in the house. I dialed 911, whispering to the operator that someone was inside. The footsteps stopped, but the silence was worse, like the calm before a storm. I clutched a fireplace poker, my only weapon, praying the police would arrive soon. The living room door rattled as if someone was testing the knob. I stifled a gasp, my heart pounding so loud I thought they'd hear it. The rattling stopped, and I heard the back door creak open. I realized they'd been inside all along. Footsteps shuffled toward the living room, and then the door burst open. A man stumbled in, disheveled, eyes wild, holding a knife. He saw me and lunged, muttering, "I'm Jason Voorhees. You can't hide." I screamed, dodging behind the couch, swinging the poker to keep him at bay. I managed to run to the kitchen, barricading myself behind the table. The man pounded on the door, shouting nonsense about being a horror movie character. I kept the operator on the line, my voice shaking as I described him. Sirens wailed in the distance, and the pounding stopped. I heard him crash through the back door, trying to flee. The police arrived, their flashlights sweeping the yard. They found him hiding in the barn, high on meth, delusional, and dangerous. The police identified him as a local addict who'd escaped a rehab center in Athens. He'd broken in through a basement window I hadn't checked. They took him away, but I was too shaken to stay in the house that night. I called my parents, who rushed home. We spent the night at a motel, and the next day they installed new locks and the security system. I couldn't stop picturing his wild eyes and the knife. I started researching home invasions in rural Ohio. They were rare, but not unheard of, especially with the opioid crisis hitting small towns hard. Our farmhouse, isolated and old, was an easy target. I began carrying pepper spray and checking every window obsessively. The police said the man had a history of breaking into homes, thinking he was a fictional killer. It was terrifying to think he'd chosen our house.
My parents and I talked about moving, but we couldn't afford it. Instead, we fortified the house. Motion sensors, reinforced doors, and a guard dog named Rusty. Rusty's presence made me feel safer, but I still avoided being alone at night. I joined the community watch group, learning from others who'd faced similar scares. It helped, but the fear lingered. Months later, I found an article about the man. He'd been committed to a psychiatric facility after another incident. Knowing he was locked away helped, but I couldn't shake the feeling that our house held other secrets. The footsteps I'd heard before he appeared, were they all him or something else? I read about hauntings in old Ohio farmhouses, wondering if the house itself attracted trouble.
Now I'm in college in Columbus, but I visit home often. I still hear creaks at night and check the locks twice. Rusty sleeps by my bed, his ears alert for any sound. That night taught me that safety is an illusion in an isolated place, and I'll never feel completely alone in that house again. I think about that man sometimes, wondering what drove him to our doorstep. Was it just drugs, or did the house draw him in? I'll never know, but I'm more cautious now, always prepared for the unexpected. The farmhouse still stands, but it's no longer my sanctuary. It's a reminder that you're never truly alone.